I'll never forget the sound of that drum. It wasn't like any drum I'd ever heard before. It didn't just make noise, it felt alive, like it was calling something deep and dark from the shadows. And it scared me to my bones. It started on the night the king's guards came to our village. They stormed into every house, taking food, animals, and whatever else they wanted. The king, Oba Akbej, was known for his cruelty. If anyone complained, they'd disappear, just like that. I was hiding in the bushes when I saw them drag Ikoma out of her hut. She was just a girl, maybe 16, but she didn't cry or beg. She held something in her arms, a small drum wrapped in cloth. The guards laughed, calling her foolish for carrying such a useless thing. "They'll beat you for this," one of them sneered, but Ikoma didn't say a word. They took her to the palace. Everyone thought she'd be killed like the others who dared to speak against the king. But the next day, she was alive. Not just alive, she was sitting in the palace courtyard, playing that drum. I was there delivering firewood when I first heard it. The sound was unsettling. It wasn't loud, but it echoed in my chest like a heartbeat. The rhythm wasn't fast or slow, it was steady, hypnotic, and strange. Even the guards seemed uneasy. The king came out, dressed in his usual gold and red robes, with that look of anger always on his face. But when he heard the drum, he stopped. He just stood there, staring at Ikoma. "What is this?" he demanded, but his voice didn't carry the same power it usually did. Ikoma didn't answer. She just kept playing. Her hands moved slowly, almost lazily, over the drum. The sound wrapped around the courtyard like smoke, thick and heavy. I don't know what happened to the king in that moment, but his face changed. The anger melted away, replaced by something I'd never seen before, fear. He took a step back, then another. "Enough," he shouted, but Ikoma didn't stop. The drumbeat grew louder, and the air felt colder. The guards looked at each other, unsure of what to do. The king fell to his knees, clutching his head. "Please, stop," he whispered, his voice trembling. Ikoma finally spoke. "You have ruled with cruelty and greed, but the spirits are watching. If you do not change, this drum will play every night until you lose everything." The king begged her to stop. He swore he would change, that he would be a better ruler. And just like that, Ikoma stopped playing. She stood up, looked him in the eye, and said, "We'll see if your words are true." From that day, the king kept his promise. He lowered the taxes, stopped raiding villages, and even started helping the people. But here's the thing, no one ever saw Ikoma again. Some say she left the palace that night and disappeared into the forest. Others believe the spirits took her away. But I know one thing for sure, every night, when the wind is just right, you can hear that drum in the distance. And I'll never forget the way it made me feel. Like something ancient and powerful was watching, waiting, and ready to remind us of what we should never forget.